Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. It's me. I was delighted tonight to be joined by Thomas for a very unexpected video. It's not a video we were thinking that was ever going to happen, especially tonight so suddenly. But we're reacting to the news that's breaking this evening that Anthony Joshua is reportedly very close to finalising a deal to take on Jake Paul this December. And I still can't believe it, Thomas, as the words are coming out of my mouth there, to be quite honest, and I'm sure you're the same. But it seems that we're getting it officially. Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul will be happening. Um, I'm a bit speechless, to be honest. Of course, Jake Paul was due to face Gervonta Davis. That fight fell by the wayside due to Davis's legal issues. And yeah, he's gone for somebody on the opposite end of the scale weight wise in Anthony Joshua. But this is just an incredible turn of events this evening and news story this evening that's breaking. Just want to get your thoughts on it. I'll let you kind of take the floor and give your opinion on your thoughts on the fact that this fight is actually happening by the looks of it now.
Yeah, honestly, I am quite surprised. Um, I just think it's crazy to go from supposedly, quote unquote, fighting Gervonta Davis to Anthony Joshua. It's like a literal like 100-pound jump. Doesn't really seem to make a whole lot of sense, but I'm cool with it. Assuming it's like a real fight and there's no you know. like strings being pulled from behind the scenes or anything or silent agreements. I really would like to see Anthony Joshua just put this guy away. No disrespect to Jake Paul, like he's done good things for women's boxing and everything, but like I'd be a liar if I didn't get some satisfaction. Like if Anthony Joshua knocked out Jake Paul like he did Francis Ngannou, like that would be a very satisfying watch for me. So I'm cool with it. I'd definitely probably watch it to be honest.
Yeah, it's just a fascinating one. I think I'm gonna disagree with you in the fact that I'm I wouldn't say I'm cool with it, but I think the fact that you said, you're gonna watch. I think everybody is gonna watch. If you say you're not gonna watch this, I think you're a liar. No matter what you think of the whole scenario, whether you think it's a circus, which I do, I'm definitely gonna watch. I really am. Just before we get on to the fight itself, it's a shame, in my opinion, to see this kind of career move from Anthony Joshua. Of course, there was talks of Tyson Fury, maybe a Daniel Dubois rematch. But he's gone for Jake Paul, which it's understandable money wise. This fight is going to generate an ungodly amount of money, even though Anthony Joshua doesn't need the money. So it is a strange one, but you can never have too much, I suppose. But yeah, just quickly before we get on to the fight, I just say what you want about Jake Paul. You have to hand it to him for taking this fight, don't you? Really, like he's caught flack for fighting the likes of MMA fighters, a 100-year-old Mike Tyson, kind of cherry picking these types of fights, if you will. But as you said, unless if there's not kind of some underhand tactics, but backstage, some WWE style string pulling backstage, you have to kind of hand it to Jake Paul for stepping in with somebody like Anthony Joshua, surely.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's going to have a significant size advantage, first off, Joshua. And not to mention, I mean, he hasn't been in with anyone even close to even as diminished as Joshua is now. He hasn't been anyone close to the likes of Joshua and someone who's like a real like knockout threat. Yeah, unless there is like some kind of like, and I hate to speculate that, like I hate to be that guy, but especially with these Jake Paul fight, these kind of like sideshow fights, you know, you never really know like what's going on behind the scenes. But anyway, yeah, you do have to give him props for stepping in with Joshua because I just don't see like how this doesn't. end in a knockout. Like I think this is gonna end pretty badly for Jake Paul, in my opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree. And that brings me on kind of perfectly to my next point and what we'll kind of wrap up with. You know, any any self-respecting boxing fan like you are, like I am, and like a lot of people are, if it is legit, as you say, Jake Paul shouldn't have a chance. As I say, credit to him, but realistically, it should be a comfortable Anthony Joshua knockout victory. To the point that you could even say, how is this even being sanctioned? But kind of before we wrap up on this, I just want to ask you, kind of maybe give me a percentage of, what chance do you think Jake Paul has of actually winning this fight? If all is legit, if it's a level playing field, what percentage range would you think Jake Paul has here, and how big of a shock would this be if he pulled it off?
Oh my God. Well, one thing about Joshua is he is chinny. So I don't know. I mean, maybe 5%, like maybe 5%. I just don't, assuming that everything's, you know, legit, like if everything works the way it's supposed to work, I just don't see how Jake Paul would have like any success in this fight at all. Like I don't see it going long at all, like maybe a couple rounds.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree. I think if you've hit the nail on the head, like surely there's no chance, absolutely no chance. And you make a good point. Joshua has chin problems. He is chinny, and of course he's coming off a long layoff after a bad knockout loss to Daniel Dubois. But that being said, he still should have more than enough for Jake Paul. He's not 120 years old like Mike Tyson was, or he's not a kind of near 40-year-old MMA fighter. He's still, I know he's still relatively young, and he's too experienced recently at a high level for Jake Paul, and I just think it could get dangerous. I really do think it could get very dangerous in there for Jake Paul. But it will make money, and people will watch it. If Jake Paul does pull it off, Anthony Joshua, he has everything to lose here in terms of legacy. His whole legacy is gone if he loses to Jake Paul. I know we're not saying the same for Mike Tyson, but it's different. As I say, Joshua is still an active fighter. He's still way more kind of into his career than Mike Tyson was past his career at this stage. But yeah, it's just left me a bit speechless, the fact that we're actually going to see this fight. It really has. But we both said it. It's like a car wreck. We don't want to look, but we won't be able to look away. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it in a weird type of way. But yeah, that was myself and Thomas with our quick reaction to tonight's big breaking news that Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul are very close, by all accounts, to finalising a deal for what will be a huge money making fight this December. Yeah, massive news for AJ and Jake Paul, of course, following on from the Tank Davis withdrawal and cancellation of that one. It looks like he's going to get an even bigger fight, physically and kind of metaphorically. But yeah, let us know what you think in the comments. What do you make of this fight? Are you as shocked as myself and Thomas? And yeah, what chance are you giving Jake Paul, most importantly, to pull off what would be a massive upset? Let us know down below. And as always, don't forget, please drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not doing so already, and follow us on all social media. Thomas, it was a pleasure as always. Take care.
Likewise, thank you.